Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Aquarian Mind podcast. Today's podcast episode number 115. I'm your host, Jamel Crothers. It's Mondays with Mello, and today we're talking about the do's and don'ts when dealing with an author, because these things are important. Because I've been on this journey for a while, and I'm quite sure a few authors, if they ever listen to this, they can relate. So, let's get to it. Now, being an author is one of the biggest challenges that you'll ever face. Writing the book, editing, the synopsis, the book cover, the pricing, choosing the bookstore websites, marketing, promotion. It's a lot of work. Now, is it worth it as a self-published author? It surely is, and I wouldn't change it for the world. There's a lot of decision making that has to be done on a daily basis along with budgeting yourself. Now, with that said, here are some pointers when it comes to authors. Number 1, if you know the author personally, asking us for a discount is not something we are really going to do. If we've published a few books and you want to buy a large amount, then it's at our discretion that we cut you a deal and give you maybe one book for free or reduced. But don't ask us for a discount or ask to borrow a book if you personally know us, because at the end of the day, you surely can't walk into Barnes & Nobles and ask the cashier or employee if you can get a discount on a book, unless you're signed up for rewards, or ask to borrow the book and bring it back. We're entrepreneurs, but in a different light. Keep that in mind when it comes to dealing with us. Number 2. If you buy any of our books, we need reviews at the end of you reading the book. Buying our books just to support us does absolutely no justice. The book reviews are what affects our algorithm rating on whatever bookstore website that you have it on. It's great when you're going out of your way to buy a book we've written, but completing the process by reading and writing a review is imperative. We lose out on potential book sales because of our lack of reviews on book sites. Number 3, if an author's books aren't for you or aren't your topic, that's totally fine. But it definitely does help if you repost anything that we post on social media. This isn't an obligatory thing that has to be done, but it does go a long way because there's a good chance someone on your friends list or someone who is following you might be interested in the books that we wrote, the blog we posted, the YouTube video we recorded, or the podcast we recorded and posted. Number 4, no book an author writes is going to be perfect. There will be grammatical errors here and there, or things that are written that can be worded differently. Most books that are written will have these things, or the author writes differently than others, but if it makes sense and it sounds right, it's fine to go with it. I've read plenty of books where I've read something and I worded it differently in my head. Interpretations of how things are written and said will always be done. And lastly, number 5. Congratulating us is great. We don't mind the praises and messages sent our way. What goes a long way is asking about how we write, what motivates us to write, and the process of everything that we do to write and complete a book. It means that you show an interest in how we go about things. That makes us feel good more than liking something on social media and moving along. The relationships and interactions is what matters to most authors in this technological age. Social media is a great help to us by talking to people that we can't see, but when you see us authors, don't hesitate to start a conversation with us. Number 5 is so huge. We are in this technological age where we go on social media and we hit and we keep scrolling. We don't engage, we don't have conversations or anything like that. The one thing that I'm doing now is I'm trying to be as engaging as possible on Twitter. And the reason why I do that is because I am sharing insight with other authors and writers on my journey a little bit. And I think that a lot of us as authors and writers, we are unsure of ourselves. And it takes people to commend us and say, wow, you wrote a really good book, or wow, that was really solid, or I really enjoyed your book, or I enjoyed reading your blog, or I enjoyed listening to your podcast. Whatever authors choose to do. I mean, I'm doing a lot and I'm doing it all for the most part. But I wouldn't change it for the world, because I think, 5 to 10 years from now, people can revert back to these podcasts and revert back to the blogs that I have on my website and say, okay, wow, Jamel really did it differently than everyone else. And that's my own journey, my own path. But anyway, number 5 is huge. Like social media, I can't tell you how many damn times I posted something on Facebook or whatever the case is, and people like and scroll, or people like and say congratulations. It's cute to say congratulations, but I really don't give a what about congratulatory messages. I post stuff to say, look, this is my journey and this is what I'm doing, and it'd be great if you guys did your part in either reposting what I've reposted or at least taking the time to look into what I'm doing. Because not only am I writing books, I am writing blogs on how I wrote the books and why I wrote them and what went into these characters and character development and insight. And I'm coming behind the microphone and I'm recording podcasts about it and doing all of these different things to allow people to immerse themselves into my journey. Now, as far as sharing like my whole personal life, I really don't care to do that anymore. And the only reason why is because people aren't really paying attention to what I'm doing as far as my writing. And I've noticed that too on social media. Like, I look at other authors on Twitter and they're going through the same grind that I'm going through. And I think for me, I don't really drive myself crazy on social media. And I think authors are too immersed in it. That's my opinion. I try to do different things outside of the box that will garner more attention with what I'm doing. But man, is it so imperative to go out of your way to say, okay, this is what this person is doing. This is awesome. This is great. I'm not into the content that this author is writing about, but let me repost it and see if I can, garner any attention from friends or family members or other people that I may know that is willing to spend time, looking into his content. I write some hard stuff. I do. Early on in my journey, I've been writing some hard stuff. Police brutality and racism and, race in America and, all that stuff. I mean, come on, Code Blue, I Woke Up a Black Man, The World in Ruins, America Under My Control, American Country Divide. I've written some hard stuff. Now, I've lightened the load. Now I'm talking about women's issues and domestic violence and mental health and postpartum depression and maternity leave and things like that. Those are still social issues that affect people in today's world. It's just lighter in content. And now, in the near future, it's jumping back into men's issues and, the financial, pressures that we have and dealing with our emotions and feelings and dealing with depression and the effects of how a divorce affects us, not just financially, which is only the thing that's talked about. It's more of how is it affecting men from a mental standpoint, from an emotional standpoint, things of that nature, and a spiritual standpoint. So, for me, the do's and don'ts with authors, please. I really implore people who come across this and listen to this is to really understand that we put a lot of time and a lot of effort into what we're doing. And on top of that, the majority of us do have, full-time jobs and other things that we have to take care of, as adults, obviously. The given is where we as adults have to take care of our homes and our children and, food and our cars and all that other stuff. And that's a given and that's obvious. But please do not ask us for discounts in things of that nature. It's not in our nature. We really want to, do our due diligence and to really keep it really 100 with you guys. The price that we set for our books and we put them on, certain websites on things of that nature, we're not getting the full percentage of that. We're getting a certain percentage, We're not getting the full 100%. So if we're setting, a paperback book for $9.99, depending on the site that you have it on, you're gonna see $3, $3.50, $4 out of it because the site the site has to, create the book, put it together, ship it out to the person, all that stuff. So, understand and know like we price our books a certain way for a certain reason. Now, for me, I try to keep it as affordable as possible. And the only reason why is because, well, guess what? I'm over 30 plus books into this process. So do I really need to oversaturate my books? Do I really need to price my books at a high price for only 60 pages? No. A 60-page book for me is going to be $7.99. I'm not going crazy over it because I have a myriad of other books that you can read. So I'm not in it for a cash grab. It's more of telling the stories and really shining light on what's going on in the world. But the do's and don'ts with authors, please, these things are so imperative to our journey, and supporting us goes a long way. We're so appreciative of any little thing that we get because, a lot of us, we're not really in competition with each other, but the reality of it is we kind of are. I'm not in competition with anyone because I write in a different format. One, and two, I write about things that a lot of other people aren't writing about. So for me, everyone's my damn friend. But anyway, that's kind of my jargon for today. Hope you guys understand, what we go through in our journeys. And this is why I share the things that I do. Anyway, that's my podcast for today. I thank you guys for listening. As always, be good, everyone, and go accomplish your goals.